After wrapping up Schnebly Hill Road near Sedona, we head deeper into northern Arizona in search of cooler temperatures, forest back roads, and Sycamore Falls near Williams. The trip eventually leads into historic downtown Williams and an overnight stay at the famously haunted and formerly very scandalous Red Garter Inn. And as usual, we got my buddy Slim here. Slim, you're looking good. You're looking good. How are you feeling?
I feel great.
Dirty?
Meh, worth it.
So yeah, Slim and I finished up our early morning adventure, which would have been last week's episode, as we took a drive down the Schnebly Hill Road into Sedona, and we made a mess. So if you want to see how we made a mess, go check it out. But outside of the mess, it was a fantastic ride. One of Arizona's finest off-road or dirt road drives that I've done to date. But for this one, we're going to be exploring the Kaibab National Forest, and I'm essentially heading to Williams, where I'm spending the night in that brothel, mind you. And but I'm taking the very off the beaten path way to get there. So we're gonna be winding around and back in these woods like nobody's business on this one. So for the rest of yous, the highway is right over there. So Interstate 40. So you could just get on the interstate. I don't know, it's probably 15 miles or something from here. Just drive on down to Williams and we'd be there, but that wouldn't be fun now, would it? All right, our staging is complete. I've got cameras mounted. You should now be able to see straight ahead, as I can too. Everything looked lined up to me, so why don't we get this started? I don't know where the pavement ends, but we'll keep it in two-wheel drive for now. And while we're doing it, I'll give you some expectations about what I think we're gonna run into back here. And then we'll see how it actually turns out. Because I'm gonna be humble about this at this point. This was, in my mind, supposed to be the easiest of all the, probably the dirt road driving I'm gonna be doing on this trip. Mostly, like if you use Onyx Off-Roads or similar apps, some give like difficulty ratings 1 out of 10, or like 1 out of 10, 2 out of 10 would mean very easy. And most of these roads I think I'm gonna take are either gonna be 1 out of 10s, well-maintained forest roads, or 2 out of 10 might be like the worst I saw, maybe a 3. The thing I did this morning was a 3 out of 10. But I learned a good lesson. I've never had an opportunity really yet to take Slim in some serious slippery mud, like clay type mud, that greasy type mud, and I got my first taste of that. 4-wheel drive be darned, I don't care what you got. There was one section where I temporarily lost control. It was in a flat, forested area, no danger of falling off a shelf road or anything, but my goodness, it was like driving on pure ice. Slim on Ice, the new musical. What is this going on here? Can I go around this guy or what? He wants me to go around him, I guess. That's not good if I see a vehicle like that out here. Guess he just wanted me to go. So anyway, here we go. We are now on dirt. Alrighty, we are ready to head back there. I've got Onyx Off-Road. That's how I'm navigating through here. I think we got about a 15-mile run down this thing, approximately. Maybe a couple turns onto some other roads to get to the Sycamore Falls hiking area where there's a rim trail. But we should, if the map is correct and the waterfall is where Onyx says it is, I should be parking like really close to it. And we should be good to go. But so far the road feels fine. But as the deeper we get in here and all of the side roads we're doing and all that, who the heck really knows what we're gonna end up with, but I definitely don't feel like I'm on ice like I was this morning. Since it's the year of Route 66 celebrating, old Route 66, like across Interstate 40 was right back there. I stopped and topped off my gas at a Chevron station and I saw a road and the sign said Old Route 66. So there's a lot of old segments that run parallel to Route 40 that are like dirt, or some places there's evidence that there was pavement or the pavement's all chopped up. So if you're a Route 66 aficionado, I'm now south of Interstate 40, but we're pretty much right off of the whole Route 66 thing in a very classic, all the classic segments of Route 66, Williams, Arizona, Seligman, Peach Springs, all of that stuff, not too far away. But this ain't no episode about no Route 66. This is, well, it kind of is, because we're going to end up staying at a brothel off of Route 66. So what am I saying? So part of this will absolutely be on Route 66 or historic Route 66. So, the forest, the trees are pretty well spread apart here. You can see for a while, which means we might have a decent chance of spotting some cool wildlife back here today. I'll make some bets. How about that? I'll kind of rank the things that I think we'll see and what I want to see. But I would say we have the best chance, in my experience, of seeing deer, mule deer. So that would be one thing, followed maybe by elk. I do see quite a bit of elk. So that would be maybe my second guess. And then my third thing that I would like to see that we're in the territory for, as long as it's a safe encounter, would be a black bear, because they do have black bear up in these regions also. So any of those would be cool, but I'd say the bear is almost probably not gonna happen. And the elk, I would guess, are probably not gonna happen. Maybe not at this time of day. And in deer, decent chance, I would say. I've already seen several early this morning. But we are out in the middle of the day. It's 1:50 p.m., so not prime wildlife spotting time. So, but anyway, so far this is a nice little peaceful drive. I was just double checking my route here because I was like, oh, am I going onto private property? I am not. This road looks a little muddier and wet than others. It looks like we're cutting through to like a more major route down the road here in a minute or two, so we don't have to go too far. I am definitely kicking mud up all over my truck again. Not that I can make it too much worse than what it was, but anyway, this is beautiful country back here, isn't it? You got a lot of ponderosa pine up here on the hills, juniper trees, pinyon pine, it looks like. A lot of farms and ranches. It looks like probably more ranches than farms, I should say. Corrals, what have you, but I'm just double checking this guy to see if, mud might fling up and onto that camera. It would ruin my day, basically, but the mud's pretty much flinging from the tires. You could see already coming up, but see how it gets caked on like that? And then it basically, as I'm driving, it's like flinging it up and, splashing all over Slim. I know for some of you, this is a spritz. This is not bad. I'm not complaining or whining or anything. I'm just showing, because I reckon most of our audience doesn't, do this sort of thing. So just sharing my experience with you. But if you ever wondered what it's like, off of Interstate 40, when you're driving on the highway and you just see the side of your window and wonder what's out there, now you know this is what's out there. Bunch of pine forest, and then these rocks here. So that's kind of some of the features I'm expecting, because there was a lot of volcanism out in these parts. Flagstaff is the prime example of volcanism. The big mountains there, the San Francisco peaks. And beyond that, it's just us, the trees, and I don't know how well it comes out with this mic, but I just hear wind blowing through these beautiful trees out here. Really nice, chilled out pace, I would say. I like this so far. Our first little washboards of the day. So far, this has been washboard free. And I'm probably contributing to it. There's a trailhead here. I don't know what this one is. There is a little parking area. That would be the Sycamore Rim Trail. Is that what we're looking for here? No, we're good. So that's Sycamore Rim, by the way, where Sycamore Falls is off the rim. My understanding, I looked at all trails. I think the whole thing, it's like a loop, but it's like over 11 miles long. And I don't think there's a lot of elevation gain. There might be a couple spots, but overall, it follows the rim of this like the thing that the waterfall's in, kind of a depression, I guess, like canyons with all that volcanic rock. But I just don't have time. I mean, that would be 11 miles. I think like all trails suggest it's going to take you about 5 hours for the average person, maybe 5-6 hours to do within my capability, I think, in my current level of fitness. But I don't have time, right? That's a whole day for me. And if I'm filming, taking my time, putzing around, that 5-6 hours could be, it's like a 7-8 hour day for me with filming. So what we're essentially doing, I'm gonna guess there's multiple access points to that trail. We're picking the access point that should be right up on the waterfalls, and we're gonna, if we do walk on that rim trail, it's gonna be very brief. I've been talking a lot, so while I've been talking, have I driven right by any black bear? Has anybody seen anything? One of these days I fully expect that, like, hey dude, like at, this many minutes in and seconds, you drove right by a bear, you didn't even see it, which is highly possible for me. I'm usually pretty focused on the road and being careful, so. I would love to see one though, just run like right in front of the truck safely, not in a dangerous, I gotta slam the brakes on kind of run in front of the truck, but something where I'm inside here and get a good view of one. Bears with cubs, I've seen that a lot. Now I see deer, actually, our first wildlife spotting of the day, and they're holding steady, so let me try to get out before they run away and get afraid. I'm gonna start filming like this because when I open the door, they're prone to run away. There's a whole bunch of them. I think they're mule deer. They do have like white little butts and tails. I haven't zoomed in yet, so. They're usually pretty skittish. See, they're running away now. There's a whole bunch of them though. Yeah, they're kind of hanging out. They're not. It's like they're partially curious. Definitely scoping me out though, waiting for me to make my move. So I told you, I made some bets and I got one bet right, and it was the mule deer. Kind of small though. So maybe they're not mule deer, maybe it's some other kind of deer. Here they go, they're putting on a show. It's like once one starts running, all of them go. I don't know, mule deer usually look larger than that to me. I know Arizona has more than mule deer, so it could be. There's more right there, look at that. I didn't keep count. I would tell them they don't have to be afraid of me, but that would be foolish to say. They're gonna cross the road. All in a straight line. Very orderly. They got it together. There's even more. Look at this. They keep coming. It is the deer highway over here. I mean, there had to be at least 10. I would say more. I haven't kept track. Don't stop in the middle of the road there, guys. Some people drive fast back here, I notice. Is that all? That's pretty cool. Usually I only see like one at a time, a couple at a time, never like a whole train. It's almost like these trains that run along the interstate out there, the real trains. It's like the deer train. Just kept coming and coming and coming. But anyway, that was kind of neat. I'm glad I said something and it came true. Kind of know my stuff more and more, I'm realizing. I do this often enough that I kind of know what to expect. Now we just need to at least find you an elk. That would be the next thing. Alrighty, I will always stop for a cool wildlife sighting like that every time. How could you not? They're the things that help make my videos interesting. Hopefully. I'm now scanning the environment for movement back here. This also feels like one of the few places that I travel to with pines that I haven't really seen any extensive like evidence of fires or anything. It's every time I'm up in this region, it just seems so healthy and in good shape. So it's probably testament to the people that keep that under control, the firemen and women and crews that work those things. And I don't know, maybe it's also, I notice a lot of the landscape out here, maybe they did controlled burns, I don't know, but the trees are pretty far spread apart also out here. There's a lot of room in between things, so maybe that causes kind of a buffer. So if there are, because now that I said that, I think I do see evidence maybe of some charred looking logs off to the left. Maybe that's why it's so sparse of trees. Maybe they burnt away. Yeah, definitely. I see charred. Isn't that ironic? I start saying that, and then I start seeing evidence that this whole area that we're driving through apparently was probably burnt down at some point. But they didn't get all the trees. Some of them are still standing. And it looks like it was pretty contained if it did. All right, we should be coming up on a road called, at least on my Onyx off-road, I think it's Forest Road or Road 150. The route is called Sycamore Falls. So we didn't take that whole thing, but if you use Onyx and you're trying to figure out where I'm at, search for Sycamore Falls on Onyx and you'll get several results, but you want one near Williams, Arizona, and the actual waterfall is plotted on their map. So oh, look at this, we got water. Should have gone through it faster to splash up on Slim to give him a bath, but all that's going to do is just make the mud wet again. And when I get in and out, I'm trying not to get my hands all muddy and track too much mud in the vehicle. Had to slow down a second because I realized we're coming right up on the parking lot. I wasn't paying attention, and when I kind of filmed the drive into this thing. So Sycamore Falls right there. So that should confirm it in the rim trailheads. So down here, we'll see how muddy this parking lot looks, because I might want to get my hiking boots on and take my street shoes off so I can not wreck them totally. And this might give us a clue as to what road conditions might be, because once we venture past here, that rough spot that I was anticipating isn't far. They do have restrooms here too, it looks like, which I can actually use really quick. Yeah, there's some mud right there, but I'm not slipping. I think I see my parking spot. Now we don't have to go far, so don't worry. I don't think we're doing a very long walk. We're just gonna, I think I see like it drops down really far right over here too, so I think we're gonna be pretty close to where we wanna go. But I do think I should be wise and change my shoes before I go out onto these trails, as I predict they're gonna be a muddy mess, maybe. So if you ever wanted to come see this, you know, I'll show you what we're gonna figure out together what it's like, but already there's a very rocky drop. So I'm guessing these are probably volcanic rocks. Very rocky, but the trail looks pretty clear to me. So somewhere, not far, I'm gonna guess less than probably maybe a quarter of a mile or something at most. Probably not even that. I'm expecting to come across some kind of rim trail, and then the actual waterfall, Sycamore Falls, which may or may not be flowing. I don't know anything about it really, other than it's here and it's called Sycamore Falls, but I don't really know when it's prone to flowing or anything like that. So that was a little rocky, but not too bad, but you're kind of seeing that terrain that I described earlier, and true to form, it sure is, it's there. You know, sometimes I describe this on different episodes, but sometimes you find perfect silence. Like the wind's not blowing. There's no sound of man out here at all. There's nobody else out here. There's no leaves to make the sound of scurrying of leaves, no birds, nothing. Just my loud voice, really. Which hopefully will scare off any black bear in the area with my loud mouth. Just a quick word of caution out here if you're gonna come down here and you don't really know where you're going already. So the parking lot's at the top of that hill. There's two trails that go off this way and that way. I started to go this way. My intuition said go that way. Then there's this trail that goes this way. And then there's gonna be more trails that, like another T-junction up here. So my point is there's lots of crisscrossing trails here. And had we gone down that one, that may or may not run into the rim trail. It might be the rim trail, but certainly isn't gonna take us where we wanted to go. So that's why having a GPS app, you know, I can confirm very quickly, because you could see you're a dot and it has precision with GPS, so you can actually see yourself moving and know which way you're actually going. So it would be this way. And I do see a depression down here, and I wanna say the falls. I wanna say we're gonna hang a right when we get down here somewhere and we encounter what I assume is the actual rim trail, the 11-miler that we're gonna be on for a very short time. So we can just get a close look at this thing. Oh yeah, look at this, there's a canyon right here. You wouldn't even known it driving around. Ah yeah, there's that trail. So I wanna say I should go right, but I wanna say the waterfall is gonna be to the left maybe. But isn't this cool? This is way cooler than I thought it was gonna be back here. I do see wet on the walls of that canyon. This is deep. Whoa, what? You gotta be kidding me. This is amazing. Holy moly, that goes down far. I was not aware this canyon was that deep. It is cool down there too, look. There's water down there for sure. See that? I might even hear water like a waterfall. But my intuition says it was up that way, but I don't think it is. So let me consult my map again, but I just wanted to pause and show this scene out here. That is cool. According to my maps, the falls should be this way. And there should be like a dead end to this canyon. I think it just ends. Lots of little viewpoints. You could see people, many people have come back here. So we might be able to get a view of it soon if it's back here. Yeah, I mean, I think because the trail, I think, is going to go around. So the falls might be like right up against this if they're even running. Even if they're not running, I tell you what, this is cool. This is worthy of note to come back and maybe do this whole rim trail at some point. But I'm expecting the falls to be somewhere right over there. And we'll look back this way. You could see you got that deep canyon. We'll just follow the official trail a little bit further, but like I said, it's, you know, according to Onyx, it's like none of this was far from where we parked, so trying to see if I hear water. Keep thinking I do, then I'm like, no. See something, not a waterfall. It almost looks like spray paint. Please tell me people aren't doing graffiti back here. Look at all this volcanic rock. See how porous that is? I'm assuming it's basalt or some kind of basalt. So if the waterfall's supposed to be here somewhere, I'm gonna guess either I messed up. I bet it's right here. I bet you anything this is where it's supposed to be. I'll pull out my map one last time and make sure I didn't make a mistake. But I'm gonna guess we're not gonna see any water flow today. But I bet you it's this. And I don't know where this water comes from. Is there a spring or something back here? I mean, you do see water, like little pools of water, and it just rained, but I'm gonna guess this is where it is, but I'm gonna guess we're gonna wind around, I think, here, and I bet you we can get a better view and vantage point from over there. And then I might fly the drone a little bit here in this spot. Not going to be able to go far with it, of course, but I think getting up there might give us a cool perspective on the situation. But yeah, somebody, I don't know what that is down there. Is that a trail marker or just something annoying somebody decided they had to spray paint? My first impressions overall are that this canyon here is much deeper cut than I thought it was going to be. I didn't realize it was going to be that deep. And I also didn't realize that it was that narrow too. I thought it was going to be a more open space. Maybe the picture that I saw was taken with some kind of wide angle lens or something, I don't know. But basically, you know, I'm even thinking I don't even need to go over there if we're going to get the drone up. Let's just get the drone up. Right down here would be well, even where I'm at right now would be a great place to take off and land from. So yeah, let's go check it out, man. Alrighty, so there you go. We got a good view down there. I can confirm two things. One, at least on Onyx, I am literally standing on the waterfall symbol where it says Sycamore Falls. So, and from pictures I've seen, usually facing towards it, it looks like what I've seen, generally speaking. It looks like there should be a waterfall here, but there's just not water. So there's that. So if I'm not at Sycamore Falls, don't blame me, blame Onyx. Second, flying the drone in here, there's plenty of space you could see. You know, I'm trying to set a good example for people. I am certified. I know the rules. I very much take seriously keeping the drone within my visual observation distance and having good awareness of what I'm doing. So the hazard here is, you know, you could actually get it further out there than you think. It looks like I went deeper in than I did, but I kept it. When it went around that corner, it was high up enough that I could still see it. I've learned that lesson the hard way a couple times. Stories for a different place and time. So I do it to follow the rules and to fly like you're supposed to fly. But also, you're gonna find out the hard way if you get one of those things and you don't do it. You're gonna crash into a tree, you're gonna wreck your drone. I've broken 2 of them now. Luckily, I had help to do it. I was able to solder and, fix the one that I'm actually flying was wrecked, and with the help of actually my father-in-law, who was an electronics engineer, he showed me how to solder, and we took it apart, got a replacement thing, and fixed it ourselves. But it's all because in those cases where I've wrecked it, I've let it go around a corner, and I was kind of relying on the drone to warn me. It does have sensors on it, so it does sense objects and it'll tell you, but sometimes the sensors don't work exactly right, depending on the angle where it's at, so they're not flawless or perfect. So I used to let that guide me more than my own eyes. So this is one of those situations where I would say you really want to be quite careful if you're going to do it. It's legal to fly back here in the National Forest, but you got trees too on either side. So I just take it slow and easy, and usually use cinematic mode because the drone flies a lot slower anyway. But other than that, that's about all I was expecting. I was expecting, to be honest, a little bit of water flow or even a drip, but nada. Has been a very dry climate out here in the Southwest, but clearly there's water down there, and that water got there somehow. But we didn't get to see the waterfall, but we got to see the cool canyon. So to me, it was still worth the trip. We've scouted it out, and we now have a future location that we can always return to try to catch the waterfall one day. So I can validate, at least if that is indeed the waterfall where it's supposed to be, then Onyx is correct. I parked in the optimal place where we didn't have to do miles of hiking to get to it. And you get really cool canyon views along the way on this little trail here too. So if you're out here near White Horse Lake, I think Dogtown is also not far from here. It's a campground out there. You're really not far from this place. And I had no idea about this, and I had to have driven by it at least once. Probably didn't pay any mind to the signs, and now I know though. Alrighty, so that was Sycamore Falls. I would say very easy to get out to, at least today, despite the slightly damp conditions. Haven't had any issues yet, but if we're gonna have any problems, it's gonna be coming up here in a little bit. Should be making a left turn back out onto that 150, and then we're gonna make a right turn onto the old 14, Forest Road 14. I don't think it's 14 anymore, and there's lots of various 14s back here, 14A and I think 14B, which are not the right ones. I'm gonna give you a word of caution in case you're gonna go on the internet like I did to find out where this cabin is. Because unfortunately there's an article that is 100% dead wrong all day long. I don't know what they were thinking. But I'm making this video to hopefully help others get there safely that want to come out and see this thing. And just double check, we got everything in here, do we not? We do. Alrighty.
So about that cabin. What was supposed to be a quick look at an old cabin turned into not that. Rather than making this video approximately the length of a Ken Burns documentary, we pulled the JD Cabin adventure into its own episode coming next week. Now back to the rest of this day.
All right, I'm looking forward to getting to this brothel, if not for anything more than it being warm and cozy, because it's getting kind of chilly out there now. Sun's really not out. It's 49, so it actually is a couple degrees warmer than earlier. But my plan is to go back the way we came, brave these couple ugly spots over here. I'm not gonna film the same route we took to get in here, so I'm gonna turn this off in just a sec, and then where I plotted that new route to go to Williams, I'll start filming again. So if I slip and slide, you're not gonna get to see it this time. Sorry. All right, we are back on the main road, and I already passed the Sycamore Falls parking lot that we parked in earlier. So what I'm doing is we're gonna come to another intersection where we came from earlier from the east, but this time we're gonna head west. And I'm taking a new, so I plotted like 3 different routes today. One to Sycamore, oh look at that, deer. There's 2 deer. Let's make sure there's no other ones running out this way. They're right out the window here. Oh, nope, there they go. I split up the group. That one's gonna come back on the road. Look at that. Dummy, your friends are back that way. You're going the wrong way. Not gonna bother you. But you don't know that, do you? You're doing the right thing to be afraid. Anyway. Now I lost my train of thought, dear. So anywho, I think I was gonna say I plotted different routes for each segment. And this will be the 3rd and final segment. The first, of course, was to Sycamore Falls, and I did a custom route to the JD cabin. And now I'm doing a custom route to Williams, presumably taking all dirt roads the back way in, not the interstate. Just for a change of scenery for you people. And I don't know how interesting this part of the drive is actually going to be, so I might be more scant with filming. And the sky over that way is looking pretty dark and rainy looking. And all that we have left to do, we still got a little bit of episode left, so don't go anywhere, but we're gonna go see the old whorehouse that I'm staying in tonight. I wanted to say whorehouse one time. I'm gonna call it brothel. Amy, my wife, told me that I shouldn't say whorehouse. She said that's not a good sounding thing, and I agree. But even I think the website, when it talks about the history, I think they dropped the word whorehouse once. It just sounds more dramatic, right? Like Glenn's staying in a whorehouse. So, but I hope you guys know better. I hope you understand and know me well enough to know that it's not an operating brothel today. It's now a boutique hotel that used to be a brothel, and I think I'm actually staying in what's known as the madam's room. And I read the history of it. There literally was the madam's room, which ironically isn't the nicest or biggest room, and it's the cheapest of all the options you can pick. You would think the madam would have the best room in the place, but apparently not. I'll go over all the history that I know when we get to the location, but yeah, I'm looking forward to my night in a brothel. Starting to rain actually here. There's nobody behind me, and I hit pavement sooner than I thought we were. So let's switch back to 2-wheel drive and assume that this is the road to Williams. It just started raining a little bit, so that GoPro up on the roof might actually have a bunch of spots all over it now, or water, so I don't know how well that's gonna look. But It is what it is. So it's not raining hard, just a little sprinkle. I was wondering if that was going to happen. Now that I'm on pavement, I wouldn't mind a downpour, to be honest. I mean, the GoPro's fine. It could be completely submerged in water, and that's no problem. But Slim could really use a bath bad. So, and I don't know if they have a car wash in Williams. You would think they would, but I might have to, if I have time tonight and the energy, because it's been a long day. I've been at it all day. I may need to figure that out, or else Slim's just going to be a filthy man until I get back home to Phoenix in a few days. Oh well, we got more off-roading to do anyway, so part of me is like, why are you going to wash them? Where if we end up in mud again tomorrow morning, which is possible, we're just going to dirty them up all over again. Alrighty, we are 1.8 miles away from the brothel. The Red Garter Inn, by the way, is the name of the establishment. I don't think I've said that yet. I think I've referred to it as the brothel. So that's where we're going, which means the town of Williams, a famous Route 66 town where you take the Grand Canyon Railroad up to the Grand Canyon, all that stuff. Very touristy, very historic and cool. Is right up here. I think I see the town on my map appearing. So it's gonna just come out of nowhere. But I thought it'd be fun to film driving in, because how many people go to Williams the way we went today? The town of Williams, Arizona. One of the, my understanding is, I think it's one of the last sections of Route 66 that existed. One of the last ones to close down, if I'm remembering correctly. Not here to do the Route 66 thing, by the way. It's just kind of coincidental that we're staying off of Route 66. I don't know if the hotel is off of Route 66 exactly. It might be.
Turn left. At the stop sign, turn left onto South 1st Street.
South
Then you'll
1st
turn
Street.
left onto Grand Canyon Avenue, historic Route 66.
All right, maybe we are on Route 66, the actual hotel itself. And look at that historic looking gas station up here, starting to look very Route 66-y, 60-60. I can't say that. 60-60. There we go. Looking very Route 60-60. There's the Grand Canyon Railway.
66.
I don't know where
Then
one
your destination will be on the
parks for this thing. Do I park out on the main street, or do I park across the street? I think I'm gonna park right here across the
Your
street.
destination is on the left.
All right. I see it. There's actually like a, that's kind of cool. There's like a mannequin that's supposed to be like a prostitute hanging out one of the windows, which actually ties into some of the actual history that I read about. All right, here we are in Williams, Arizona officially. Welcome to Williams. And out here in this train yard, you could see some of the cars for the, I would say the famous, the well-known Grand Canyon Railroad, the historic railroad that you can actually take to go straight up to the Grand Canyon. It pulls you right up there next to the actual train station is right downhill from the old El Tovar hotel in a very nice convenient spot. So you take the train from here and you take this beautiful train ride. I don't know how long it is. We've done it, but I don't know, an hour, maybe more. It was wonderful. I have good memories of that. In fact, it's not often that I'll plug this one because it's going way back in the Cactus Atlas back catalog. One of our, I don't know what episode number it would be, but it would have been one of our earlier episodes, probably in the first few months of doing the Cactus Atlas, maybe back in 2019 is my best guess. I forget about these things until I remember, like now when I have a reason to. But Amy and I took that and we made a video. So I filmed the whole thing Assuming it still works the same way, yeah, we arrived here in the morning. We did it all in one day, and we took the historic Pullman cars. So they're not climate controlled. The windows you could open up the windows. In fact, I remember one of my scenes, I remember sticking the camera out the window when the rail was curving, and I think I got a cool shot. Amy's probably showing you that right now. She should. And then on the ride back, we took one of the climate controlled cars. So my point is, back then you could mix and match, because we did it in the summertime, and it's cool enough up in these parts sometimes in the summer where it was a pleasant ride up, very comfortable, but on the ride back it would have been pretty uncomfortable. So we paid a cheaper price. The Pullman was the cheaper option, if I remember, and then we took a different option on the way back because of the heat, and it's hot in the afternoon. It is doable in one day. You don't have to stay at the Grand Canyon, although you can, and they've got all these deals and packages usually you could do that. If you don't want to stay, they have meal plans, all that kind of stuff. We didn't do any of that. We just went up. They tell you when to get back to the train. We were on time, didn't miss our ride, and it was easily done in one day. And we had plenty of time to explore that section of the South Rim. So highly recommend that. All right, we're making our way to the brothel. I know there's a few of you that are very impatient and want to see it. I can see it. Can you see it? It's one of these buildings in front of us. But we'll start down here. I've only come up here for the train, and I maybe have been here once or twice, and it certainly was not for seeking out Route 66 history. So I never have really inhaled Williams, the Route 66 portion, and I believe this is right out here, I think is part of the historic Route 66. And these buildings, and the one that we're staying in, at least I can speak to. I can't speak to all of them. I know our building is an 1800s structure, and you can see old school pictures of Williams. I mean, it's got history. It goes back to the settler times, and definitely railroad history, and then certainly your Route 66 history. But kind of walking right up here to the Red Garter Inn. They have vacancy too, it looks like, tonight. The vacancy sign is lit up, so if anybody wants to join me, you gotta get your own room, of course, but I'll definitely grab a cup of coffee or something with the hot cocoa. Sounds good. Red Garter Inn, and there's one of the working gals. I believe those are the best gal rooms. The two windows up there are part of the history, and those would have been for the two best girls, I guess the ones that got the most business would be my guess. And they were known to hang out of the window there and try to attract men walking here on the street to come spend money. So the gist of this is that I believe the idea to build this was conceived in 1895, and then I want to say it opened in 1897 or something like that. So and it has the yellow brick that was actually described that I read about. So the inn, I believe, is just the top floor where I'm going to be staying, presumably. And then down here is Anna's place, a Grand Canyon cafe where they've got breakfast all day. Oh, they shouldn't have told me that. I may have to skip what I brought with me, because breakfast sounds really good right now. And there's like a red light there, I'm assuming that's what it means. But I guess actually Annie's is closed, unfortunately, so I guess I will be eating the stuff I brought. And there you go, the best little whorehouse. And here's a historic plaque. Tetzlaff was the name of the German guy that I think was the owner of this. And, like I said, this goes back to the 1800s. He wanted to build a high-class brothel. And I would say, for those times, this is pretty nice. Brick. And it's held up really nicely over time, for sure. I'm guessing this is where we actually are going to go in. I just got an email saying, here's your door code. So I don't even think there's any check-in process or anything. I think I've already paid. So the bottom was different businesses, while the top sometimes was also the brothel. I think when it opened, the whole thing may have been like a saloon on the bottom, brothel on top, and then I think this was actually like a Chinese restaurant on the bottom for many years in the early 1900s, and then I think like maybe like some kind of a general store or something like that. But essentially, the top was a brothel for a lot of that time, but the businesses were kind of split. There you go. There's actually a date up there that looks like the 9's kind of in reverse for some reason, but 1897. Tetzlaff, the name of the German dude. So there you go. Well, to me it looks like the instructions are, you just go up to your room and it says, for check-in instructions, please refer to your confirmation email, find the information to access the inn, and if you didn't get the email or whatever, text somebody, but I did. So I'm guessing there's one of the door codes. I need to put this down and pull up my phone. Well, the door code worked. We are now in the door. I didn't want to show it. You know, they probably changed it up, but so the one that I was emailed about was correct. Now the question is, how do I get in my room in here? But we're inside this historic structure. It smells like the restaurant. It smells like coffee, like a coffee shop. It's a pleasant smell, because I'm guessing that restaurant probably is how you could get into there when it's open. But here's the stairway here at the historic Red Garter Inn. I wonder if this is haunted by prostitutes. Oh, there's a nice picture. I think that's from more modern times, but you can see there's a rendition of the prostitutes hanging out the window, just like they were said to do back in the day. I'm guessing those would be your prime rooms. The two, I think there's two of them, the best ladies' room, something like that. And then I know where I'm staying is the madam's room. And then we'll talk more about the history of the other rooms. They had like more like smaller cribs for the regular working gals in here. But oh, I hear the train. I don't know, we're kind of peeking through the window, but you can actually see the Grand Canyon Railways coming in for the day, with folks presumably from the Grand Canyon. Amy and I would have been on one of those, possibly one of those cars way back in the day. But there you go. Proof that it's still running. All right, let's go find room number 2. These are some steep stairs, man. Wow. So far, it's a really nice building, I would say. Sometimes these older historic hotels could be kind of dingy and stinky and stuff, but not this one. What do we got? Actually, the doors are open, so maybe we can maybe I'm the only one here tonight. It's very possible. So we need room number 2. Oh yeah, there's my room. So this is room 2. This is the madam's room. It smells, that's weird, the light is creating some kind of weird thing here. It's like flickering, I think. But oh, I actually do get a restroom. Nice. I wanted to confirm that. I think I saw that online. I heard they're a little dated, but I like dated. I don't have to share, because sometimes in places like this you do. Yeah, I even got my own toilet. So I guess I'll give you the quick room tour. I love this, actually. This is great. It smells like perfume, or it smells very fragrant, like almost like a perfume in here. Maybe it's the perfume of a prostitute ghost. Trying to see if we can turn on more lights. Because yeah, something about these bulbs, sometimes you see that like flickering thing. It's probably some like frame rate thing. There's even a TV. I wasn't expecting all this. This is a nice room. Yeah, it smells really clean in here. It's like in fragrant in a good way. Not like sometimes, you know, perfumes and stuff can give people headaches. It's not like that kind of heavy thing, but wow. I would guess this is probably, if they call it the madam's room, this may have been the actual madam's room. It would have been a nice little, probably bigger than the regular working girls. Well, I'm gonna take it that whoever's in here hasn't arrived yet, so I'm just gonna be, this is the best gal's room. So yes, this would be where they would hang out the windows. Yeah, I can tell nobody's checked in yet. The key's still in the door. Whether or not they're gonna be here, I don't know, but this is awesome because I can actually show maybe all of the rooms here. I wasn't planning on that, but here's the best gal's bathroom. I would say it's probably equivalent in size, different layout, but as nice. There I am, as mine. And you got your shower behind the door. It is pretty cramped. I mean, it is an older building, but I would say excellent. Clean. So this would have been probably your most expensive prostitutes, if I had to guess. And the ones that, I don't know how they determined which ones were the best ones. Was it whoever made the most money? But if you did stay here, you'd get their view that they used to have. They would be like, hey boys, want to come in for a quickie? Or whatever they said, I don't know. But this room's nice. You get like a little, almost like a studio, old school studio. So they call it the best gal's room. So I don't know what the logistics were of how that actually worked. Did you have like multiple customers in the same room at the same time? Was it partitioned? And there you go. She's like, hey boys, come up and get you some. Only $9.99. Yeah, so the best gal's room. How often do you get this kind of opportunity? Hopefully I'm not doing anything wrong. I don't think I am. I mean, I'm not gonna be overstaying my welcome, and I want to do a favor for the owner of this establishment because I'm already loving it. I'm already impressed. So let's go see what else we can find. Look at all these shot glasses and t-shirts and signs. Can you buy this stuff? It's like a kind of a cheap metal sign. I don't see a price on any of this stuff though. But I was like, are all the shot glasses for me? But you got t-shirts, $25. I would totally normally buy one, but I'm on a really strict budget. So let's go over here and see what these rooms are. So they do have a microwave. I was wondering, I knew they didn't have them in the rooms, but I was curious if they had a communal microwave, and they do. And they actually have, wow, look at this. They got a washer and dryer, and I'm assuming you can use them team use only. For additional laundry, visit the okay, so these are not for the general public, the washer and dryer, but I'm assuming the microwave and stuff is, and you've got like a snack machine in here, not much choice, and then a fridge. Since you don't have mini fridges, there's creamer in there for coffee. And then there's the shirt offerings. You really couldn't see them earlier. I like the one on the left, the tan one that says Red Garter Inn. Not really a fan of black colors like I used to be in my youth. And then we have probably guests in those. And then you've got room number 3. It's like a little double room. I'm guessing these used to be the cribs. They were probably partitioned off back in the day. But this one's really big, actually. Look at that. Look at that bathtub. That's a classic bathtub. Actually, I don't know. It's hard to even say what my favorite room is. I don't know the name of what this offering is. I didn't see a sign. But, we really got to see most of the rooms. There's only a couple of the doors are closed, so I presume they have guests staying in them. But we got to at least see the best gal's room. That was the one I really wanted to see. The floor is nice and creaky as it should be in an old building, but Anyway, let's go back to our cozy little room. I don't know why ours has the funky lighting. I'm looking for... Here, that will actually help a little bit, I think. I love the decor. I love how they designed this. I think what I need to do is I need to go to my truck because I got loads of electronics, my clothes. I usually haul it all in. I don't trust this world. Although I fancy Williams, seems to be a safe town and all. So no knocking Williams. I do this anywhere I go. But I'm going to have to make several trips up and down, unfortunately. But pretty much my evening's going to be backing up all the clips we filmed on this episode and then the Sedona run we made even earlier this morning, which would have been last week's episode. So I usually film, then I spend several hours backing up clips, eating and chilling. And I guess for me tonight, I'm probably just going to keep it simple. I brought sandwich meat, hard-boiled eggs, ham like for sandwich meat, baby Swiss cheese, and like bread. I did bring a nice, delicious soda, though, that I'm going to reward myself with. So, and I always wonder, do places like this, you think most places like this have a claim to hauntings, right? It wouldn't be a cool historic hotel if there wasn't. And apparently there is a ghost. So let's read about it. There's a sign here called, it's USAA Today's 10 Great Places to Sleep with a Ghost. And there's the Red Garter Bed and Breakfast right there. So the thing doesn't have a lot of information, but it says a former call girl named Eve haunts the place, and that guests report, feeling like their arm getting tugged on when there's nobody there, or the bed shaking. So I'm in the madam's room though, so I don't know how much hanky-panky actually took place in the madam's room compared to other offerings here, but apparently a haunted hotel, and I'd have it no other way. You can't have 1800s vintage and not have a claim to being haunted, right? It goes with the territory. And maybe we'll do a quick walk around here one last time, see if we can find Eve or any of her compatriots. My guess is Eve was more likely than not one of the regular girls, and I'm guessing the cribs, as they called them, smaller partition rooms, would have been where probably the most common workers would be, and I'm gonna guess likely back here somewhere. So if Eve is around, Eve, I bet you'd be in here. Or were you one of the best gals? I'm not trying to insult you. I'm just trying to get a sense. If you want to shake a bed, I'm all for it, man. I can't do any hanky-panky. I'm married. But certainly if you just want to hang out and do ghost things and shake beds, grab my arm, I'm game for that. I don't mind. As long as you're nice. We'll kind of peek here again in the best gal's room. Maybe you worked in here. And what era is Eve from? Because it says the place operated until the 1940s. So just about World War II era. I don't know, it's just very quiet. That's all I can report so far. All right, I feel like it would be wrong of me not to at least kind of just cruise the street really quick. We'll tidy this one up. This has been a pretty long episode, I'm sure, as usual. But we'll go out to the main road, take a look, and we'll kind of tidy this one up really quick. All right, let's take you down these steep stairs really quick. I'll give you one walk down this thing. Because this is crazy for me. I'm telling you, my feet don't fit well on those stairs. All right, we're out here in Williams now on the Route 66 kick. Get off of the prostitution kick for a minute. And let's just go around the block maybe and check this out really quick, since I never really have done that before. A lot of eateries and breweries and things like that around here, but you got the Grand Canyon Gallery. Saltwater taffy, and I presume more Route 66. This says West Route 66, so I'm assuming the historic Route 66 split like that into one-way roads. I'm gonna guess the one behind us is east, but this looks more populated with cool stuff. That looks more Route 6060 to me than others. And there's another historic hotel since 1891, I think, the Grand Canyon Hotel. And you know, I bet at nighttime it's probably really colorful out here, and definitely no shortage of food options. Probably one of the more lively Route 66 towns I've ever been to. Seems like it's because you probably got the Grand Canyon tourism mixed with the Route 66 tourism down here and all that kind of stuff. I could already see this would be dangerous for me. I mean, this is a whole episode on its own to explore all that stuff. I just wanted to kind of come check out some of the signs and see what some of the establishments look like up close, and I love it. I would say I'm not really a Route 66 guy. I'm not going to make claims to have deep knowledge about it, although we've been on sections of it for sure, usually coincidentally. But maybe I need to start getting in on some of that, right? I'd be smart, being as this is a big celebratory year for Route 66, of course, so try to jump on that trending thing, but that's not how I am. You know how, now you know how I am. I like going to find that muddy dirt like we did earlier. So this, I would say for Route 66 history, maybe at most, I think the earliest days, like in the 20s, would be my jam. Like some of these very sections that we're on actually, or we're gonna be seeing, are really old. Well, my friends, I'm back at the door. We just did a quick look around. I wasn't promising anything. I wanted to show the brothel, and that was my main plan. You got that, so no complaining. But anyway, I'm gonna part ways here. I have a long day of filming tomorrow. We're gonna be making a couple more episodes tomorrow, so I gotta get up there, take my shoes off, relax, get some food in my belly, back up clips, and hopefully go to bed at a reasonable time and do it all over again tomorrow so I can make next week's episode for you people. You make me work hard. Anyway, thanks for joining me. I hope this was a good one, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye-bye.